Live from Paradise Studios in Massapequa, New York, it's Unger the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Tonight, Randy will be interviewing filmmaker Gustavo Steinberg of the new animated drama film Tito and the Birds. Randy will also be reviewing the new films The Upside, A Dog's Way Home, and State Like Sleep, with special guest critics Amanda Vasquez, Karen Benardello, and Jason Koenigsberg. And now, here's your host, Randy Unger.
Unger the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger, and with me right now on the phone is filmmaker Gustavo Steinberg. Gustavo, how are you today?
I'm good, and you?
Good. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Tito and the Birds. How did the project originally come about?
Well, the idea started quite a few years ago. We started the project 8 years ago. And from the start, we wanted to make a film that would talk about what I call this new fear culture. It's really like this new fear that we live in the world nowadays that is brought by the media, by the social networks. And I wanted to talk about that to kids and through an animated feature because I thought it would be the best way to talk to kids about that. And of course, also to make a very beautiful and unique and inspiring adventure for kids to talk about.
Nice. How did the animation style come about? What was it like working with your animation team?
Well, it's my first animated feature. I come from live action, so of course I had to meet quite a few talented people to make it happen. So what I did, we actually co-directed the film. We were 3 directors. I don't animate anything. I don't know how to draw. I don't know. I just I came up with the story, and I invited a couple of very talented guys who became the co-directors of the film. Okay. So that's how it started. They were short filmmakers, and I invited them for the project, and then they liked it, and we've been working since then. Of course, it wasn't like 8 years producing the movie. It was more like the beginning was like to come up with the story, write the story, raise the money, and then we had the production itself took us 3 years after we had all the money or most of the money in place and everything. Yeah.
Now, was the film ever considered to be live action, or is it always supposed to be animated?
No, it has always been an animation. I thought. First of all, it would be, it's a tough subject for kids, in a way. Of course, I think we came up, the result of the film works very well, but it would have been impossible to do the same stuff with live action. One, because it would be very expensive, and 2, it would be too scary. And I didn't want it to be too scary. I just wanted to bring a little bit of fear to the movie so that the kids would understand what I'm talking about. But just enough that they stay in the movie theater. We don't want them to walk out of the movie theater in the middle of the screening. So it has always been an animation, yes. And it's also interesting because we came up doing the research for the aesthetics of the film. We made a very happy choice. We used expressionism as a big reference for the movie because it's a way. It's just the perfect way to talk about fear. It's the perfect aesthetic reference to tell a story about fear. So expressionism was a big reference, and it was also the way that we managed to make the film look very unique because it's very painterly, and we use oil paint, and of course a lot of digital too. But it looks like oil paint, so. It's quite unique. If you watch it, you see.
It's basically like a painting that has come to life, and it's just really just beautiful the way you executed this.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the goal. Like we had the goal that every frame of the movie could be like an actual painting. Like,
right.
That's what we were aiming at, and I think that the end result was quite beautiful. Yeah.
Now, did you guys have any filmmakers or artists that have inspired you, especially this work?
Well, people ask a lot what were the references in terms of animation. Of course, like everybody that works with animation has, like in Miyazaki, a big inspiration. There were movies that inspired us, like as a crew in general. And but one very specific reference that we had for the movie was the Goonies, the film from the movie from the 80s.
Yeah, Richard Donner.
Because it's really like a bunch of kids coming together to solve this big problem. In the Goonies, it's like their parents have to sell their houses because they don't have money, so they have to find this big treasure, and then they basically go after this big adventure and then everything. So it's pretty much the same feeling for us. So it was a big reference for the whole crew. Everybody would understand what I was trying to achieve when I mentioned the Goonies.
So were you hoping that audiences will take away that classic 80s adventure nostalgic feeling?
A little bit, yes, but it's quite different also because the aesthetic is quite different. But yes, in terms of being a fun adventure, yes, I think everybody will get this feeling of a fun adventure that are not so common anymore.
I totally agree with that.
You don't see them.
I even got a slight Tim Burton vibe from this, kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach type of vibe.
It's true in terms of like being a little dark. I agree, but again, I think it wasn't like a big reference for us. It wasn't a clear reference, but yes, I agree. It can be a little bit like that. It can be another reference that came after we were already developing the movie, just to show that the ideas are in the air. Like, of course, it's not the same target because we aim at younger audiences, but you can say that it has a relationship with Stranger Things kind of thing, as a vibe. Yes.
Awesome. Now, what do you hope audiences take away from the film? You mentioned that theme of fear. Talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, maybe it's easier to understand if one of the big references for the villain, Alvaro Souza, was Donald Trump. And we decided that before he was even a candidate, and then he got to be the president, so I guess we were looking in the right direction. So, yeah, it's a mixture of like Donald Trump with Berlusconi, Rupert Murdoch kind of thing.
Right.
So it's really like the best feeling that I have is when I see kids walking out of the movie theater and recognizing Alvaro Souza in real life, and this is happening. So it's really satisfying to see it happening because they understand the whole idea of like what is fear used for, like how it can be a powerful tool, a political tool, and an economic tool in the hands of fearmongers. And it's another question that I get a lot is like how much reality interfered in the story, because it took a long time for us to develop the whole thing. And the funny thing is that we didn't really change the story much. My executive producer said that actually reality caught up with the film, with the story of the film, unfortunately for the world. But in the end, it became a very timely movie because, we've just elected our equivalent of Donald Trump in Brazil, Bolsonaro. You probably heard of it, and it's happening all over the world. And for different reasons, people connect with the movie. Maybe in Europe it's more like about terrorism, and in the US it's more about immigration. Here is more about like robbery and unemployment. But there are lots of reasons for people to be afraid, and people do understand how this is happening with the help of the media. and somehow we are creating a very chaotic environment. That's why I really wanted to talk to kids about this, because we adults created all this mess in the world, and they are going to have to solve the problem. So hopefully they'll come up with better ideas than we do.
So would you say it's a political film and a children's film kind of balanced? It's basically the same type of genre, kind of like a mix of both genres?
Yeah, I don't know. I believe that all films are political. Mm-hmm. I mean, Spider-Man is political too. It's just different kind of politics, if you know what I mean. But it's very political in a way.
Okay.
Because it talks about a very political subject.
Right.
But again, it's not. We at least we tried very hard to make it fun. Mm-hmm. And also deep in a way. So it's a mixture of genres. Yes, you can say that.
Now, talk a little bit about your previous works. How does this film compare to those? Is there like a common theme throughout all films, or are they kind of each like a standalone film?
Well, all my films are very political. All my previous films, but they are like they are not. It's my first animated feature, but it's also my first film for kids. So it's still political, but of course I had to work to make it a good film for like younger audiences, and
right.
It was a very, very cool process for me. Also because I have young kids myself.
Oh, good.
So it was really, really cool to do it. So I guess the connection is really about like being political and socially engaged, if you can say so.
Yeah.
So yes, but my other films are like
okay.
Live action. I have a documentary that is also very political about a prison. Mm-hmm. So I always work with social problems. That's really my goal.
That's awesome.
To discuss society and to discuss
now
our problems.
Now, I wanted to talk about the score, which is absolutely beautiful. Who wrote it, and what was it like working with the composers?
It was the same guys. It's Ruben Pfeffer and Gustavo Kurlat. Mm. They wrote the score for Boy in the World, which is another Brazilian animated feature that did very well and was nominated for an Oscar 2 years ago, okay. I think, 2 or 3 years ago. And it did very, very well, and I loved the score of that movie. And so I went and talked to them, and I said, I love your work. It's going to be completely different from what you did before, but I think it's going to be great. And we knew that the score was going to be so important for the film that we started to work on it before the script was ready, which was a very interesting process because I really wanted to make the animatic already with our own music. So we never, of course, we did have a little bit of inspiration from other like songs and soundtracks and everything, but we started the project with its own sonority from the start, and that was very important because, again, as I mentioned, expressionism before as a big reference.
Right.
It's really because we needed to bring fear into the movie in order for it to make sense. I mean, the kids, they must feel what this fear is about. Right. So we had two strategies to make it happen without creating a film that would be too, like, dense. Okay. So one of them was the expressionism in the backgrounds and as a reference, and the other one was the score, because the score is very beautiful, but it's always very dense. Even in the happy moments, there is this kind of oppression that you feel, and that was important to create the atmosphere to make the audiences understand what the film is about. So the music is always very important, but
right.
in this film I think it was crucial.
Especially also for an animated film. It's also about the music, the way the birds sing, and there is a lot of music in the story. Terrific. Well, Gustavo, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Tell everyone where they can see the film, Tito and the Birds. Where can they see it? Well, it's going to be released. It opens on the 25th of January in New York, and then the week after in other cities. It's going to be released in 25 different cities in the U.S. We have the Brazilian release a little after on the 14th of February in Brazil. But you can check the website, titoandthebirds.com. You have all the movie theaters there, and you can see if it's going to be in your city.
Awesome. Well, Gustavo, this has been great. The film is great. And again, I want to thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with our film review segment with more Unger the Radar. Stay tuned.
Unger the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, we're back. This is Unger the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger, and our film review segment. Wonderful panel of critics today. We've got Amanda Vasquez. Welcome back.
Hi.
I'm going to butcher this. Jason Koenigsberg?
Koenigsberg. Perfect. You said it right. Jason Koenigsberg of PanandSlam.com.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
It's a small victory today. And Karen Benardello. It's been a while. You were actually on my very first episode over at Village Connection, and that was many moons ago.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for inviting me back.
Yeah,
Nice
anytime.
Yeah.
You're always welcome. Your criticism of films is always valued, as is everybody else.
Thank you.
So, Jason, you were on last week, and we discussed the Golden Globe nominations. Now we can talk about the winners for a little bit. Karen, you can weigh in as well, and Amanda too. So, were you disappointed with any of the winners? What were some of the big disappointments?
Almost all of them.
Oh my God!
Especially Best Picture Drama and Best Actor Drama.
Bohemian Rhapsody won
Yes.
best drama.
And you and I are on two very different sides with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. Well, no. I enjoyed it. So did mostly everyone in the world.
It seems that way. Well, you look at like Metacritic or whatever. The critics are very divided. There are others that feel that it was not good, and there's others that think it's one of the best pictures of the year. I called it the second worst film of the year. Yeah, it was number 2 on my 10 worst of the year list.
Ouch.
No other movie this year offended me as much. Yeah.
Was it because of the historical inaccuracies?
That was a problem, but that doesn't offend me. It was the way they treated his homosexuality as a vice, as an addiction, as if Freddie Mercury had it all. He had the whole world at his hands, but because he was gay, he died of AIDS, and it was like he was punished for being gay. And I thought in 2018, I find that very bizarre.
So you
that's
think it was
the,
really in your face?
But it wasn't a 2018 movie, though.
Well, it was released in 2018.
But it wasn't.
It didn't take place.
Correct.
Modern
But I
day.
think we should be more tolerant. For me too, I mean, no one in my family is gay or anything, but it just really rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay,
It really, I walked out, that scene, and the scene in particular that really offended me was at his house when he was having that party. And he's got the crown on.
Darling.
He's all flamboyant, he's all in your face, and he's partying, and then the rest of the band is there with their wives, and they get up and they leave, and I thought, that was sending a message that just didn't seem necessary.
Okay.
That was I thought that was sending the wrong message, and that was why I really did not like the way it was portrayed. It was good the performance was good by Rami Malek.
Sure,
he did a good impression of Freddie Mercury.
He won the Golden
Globe.
He'll probably win the Oscar.
I don't know. I'd like to see Ethan Hawke win, but that's
another great performance.
That's a lot of wishing, I think. So, and I wasn't happy that Green Book won Best Picture either.
That had like some of the most nominations next to Vice, I think it had. Like,
and I wasn't too happy. I
was
wasn't
an
thrilled
okay
with Vice
movie.
either. They're both okay.
Yeah.
They're both. I feel the Golden Globes chose to honor.
I feel like these historical movies are not on your list.
They took these historical good movies can be on my list, but when Vice is 90% speculation and hearsay, how is that a good historical movie?
Karen, what did you think of the Globes?
Out of those movies, I've only seen Green Book so far.
Okay.
I like the performances. Overall, it wasn't like my favorite movie. It was wasn't anything like really special, but I think like he deserved to win like supporting actor, but overall, it wasn't like amazing in my opinion. So.
I think Richard E. Grant deserved it for Can You Ever Forgive Me?
I agree.
That was phenomenal.
I agree with you on that 100%.
But you love that movie a lot.
I do, and
I do as well. Yeah, Can You Ever Forgive Me? It's a terrific movie.
When I talk to like regular people out on the street, non-critics, they really don't know what it is.
Yeah, to say, you know that serious
I have to
Melissa
explain
McCarthy
the
movie?
complicated plot over and over, and it's annoying.
Remember the movie where Melissa McCarthy
she has
serious?
She's forging letters from celebrities.
She was great in it. She was great.
They were both phenomenal.
They were both great. I thought he was going to win. I would have rather seen Richard E. Grant win.
Mm-hmm.
Like it flew under. I feel like that type of like that movie for some reason flew under. Like everybody wasn't paying attention to it.
It did fly under the radar. It was Unger the Radar for sure.
For sure. I just think the Hollywood Foreign Press really played it safe. They picked a film that was predominantly about homosexuality, and then they picked a film that was about race relations.
Right.
And it's like, look how tolerant and wonderful we are, when neither film is really that good. I agree with you. The acting was fantastic.
And now that I'm looking over at the other nominees, you've got Black Panther, Black Klansman.
Both better.
If Beale Street can I didn't see If Beale...
I liked
Was that also a racially...
yes, it is, yeah.
And then the only one that's not racially charged or homophobic or controversial, really, is A Star is Born. So,
and that was a fine movie.
It was decent.
I would have rather have seen that win than...
I would have liked to have seen Gaga win for Best Actress.
I'm actually surprised. Everyone loved that movie.
Yeah.
Over Melissa McCarthy, though?
Wait, no. I think Glenn Close.
And I have no problem with Glenn Close.
With The Wife? I didn't see The Wife.
The Wife is very good. I liked her acceptance speech. I'm looking up who else was the nominated. Yeah, Lady Gaga, Glenn Close.
I got Nicole Kidman.
Rosamund Pike. Yeah, I would have given it to Melissa McCarthy, I think. But Glenn Close was excellent.
I like Gaga's performance more than McCarthy. But I love McCarthy's movie more than The Star is Born.
Interesting. Okay,
yeah,
interesting dynamic.
Right. You know, it's a lot of
but I feel
gray
like
area.
you liked her performance more because she was most surprising. Like because,
who, Gaga?
Yeah, like you didn't know she had.
She was just so natural.
That in her, like.
I mean,
so
I don't think that she was acting really. Like, this is pretty close to her real life.
True. That's very true.
But
I thought she's trying to be the next Cher. Which is fine.
I think she's already there.
She's already there. Well, if she wins an Oscar, she'll be there.
That's
Cher
true.
has an Oscar.
Nicely. Rami Malek, best actor. I thought he was phenomenal.
What were the other nominees for that?
We got Bradley Cooper, Willem Dafoe for At Eternity's Gate, which I actually saw.
I'd have given it to him.
Yeah.
I think I'd have given it to Willem Dafoe, not Bradley Cooper.
Really? Oh, you saw the
I really
Van Gogh
enjoyed
film?
At Eternity's Gate, yes.
He was the only good thing about it. I didn't like the rest of the movie around him, though.
I thought it was good. I thought it was a little slow.
I wasn't impressed.
It was okay. Yeah. I liked At Eternity's Gate. Yeah. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
And young Lucas Hedges for Boy Erased, he was nominated. He was also in Mid-90s, which is actually on, I think it was also...
You liked that a lot.
It was on
more
my
than
top
I did.
10, and I think Chris Clemente's as well.
Yeah, I mean, it captured our era growing up, which is Jonah Hill's era growing up.
True. Plus, it had that Kids vibe, you know, like from 1995. Did you ever see Kids? It's a smaller film. I think
Larry Clark.
Yeah.
It was very controversial because it was just kids sitting around talking about sex.
Yeah. And having sex and doing drugs.
Beating
each other up.
And the ending was controversial, also involving AIDS.
Right.
Yeah, I was never crazy about Kids. I did like Larry Clark's other movie.
I didn't see
Bully.
Yeah. You recommend it?
It's not for everybody.
Okay.
It's definitely
Neither is Kids.
Yeah, this is more
Wow.
you know, sexually charged
but they were
and violent.
Kids.
Chloe Sevigny was in it really young.
They were acting, I think. Right?
Yeah, they were
but
actors.
It felt like a documentary.
Karen,
do you see Kids from 95?
Yeah, I saw that one.
It sounds like the animated film that's on Netflix right now, The Big Mouth. The way you're describing
This
it.
is nothing like Big Mouth.
Really?
Big Mouth is closer to like Beavis and Butthead. I would say, yeah. This Kids is like it's trying to be like very avant-garde and factual and it was in the mid-90s. It was a wake-up call to parents.
It felt
this
real
is
to
what
me.
kids are talking about. I just remember the scene with the guy with no legs on the subway.
Oh God,
that's what I remember. Singing "I Have No Legs."
I have no legs.
Yeah, that was it.
Rolling along the subway car, trying to get
maybe
money.
because I was younger when I saw it, it came off as comical.
It is kind of funny.
You're looking back.
It's
like
no, this is wrong.
I haven't seen it in many years, but mid '90s was definitely going for that. Mid
'90s is more like kind of the PC version of Kids, I'd say. It's not as in your face or intense and violent.
And therefore, maybe it's not as memorable.
Yeah.
So I may not like Kids, but I certainly remember things.
It's a decent movie, and I'll give Jonah Hill
credit. You'd like to see what he does next? Yeah.
I'd like to see him do like a gritty detective movie set in.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I think throw a little Jonah Hill humor in there.
I remember after Get Out, I was like, I can't wait to see what Jordan Peele's going to do next.
And
now it's coming.
I'm super excited.
Well, didn't he have a supporting role in Predator?
I can't wait.
The Predator.
Keegan-Michael Key did.
Oh, sorry.
So Key from Key and Peele.
Close enough, right?
Yeah, he had a role in Predator, which we maligned terribly, with good reason last week. Yeah,
we did our best and worst of the year on the show last week. Karen, I'm just curious, what's your top movie and what's your least favorite movie of 2018? Sorry to put you on the spot. I'm just curious.
I'll have to think about that. I didn't really make a list or anything, so
all right.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, please do. I really want to know. Okay. Amanda, do you have
best
number one and number not one?
Number one and number worst.
Well,
yes.
Well, number one would have to be my favorite one was Avengers. I really like that one.
Awesome.
And the worst, I don't know.
You've seen some bad ones with me.
That's true.
Some real. I've subjected her to many screening links that have. Yeah. I'm not gonna name some now, but yeah.
You gotta warn the people what not to
see. I think I have in the past.
Okay.
But the Predator. Do not download the Predator. Do not buy the Blu-ray. It's just terrible.
I mean, I didn't mind the Predator.
You didn't mind. Very
Have you
well.
seen the other ones?
No.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Gotta see one and
That's
two.
what he said.
The first one,
the reason
especially
why
with
you
Arnold.
Like this is because you didn't see
and I
the original one.
I hear the Predators with Brody.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah, I heard that was
pretty slightly better than this.
Slightly.
It was decent.
Okay.
It was no Predator 1 or 2.
But you're coming in really liking the original.
Correct. So it had big shoes to fill.
know.
We're very biased. We grew up with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s.
Did you have the action figures too?
Did I have a Predator action figure? I know I had Terminator 2.
I had the action figures, the trading cards.
For Predator?
The comic books.
Oh,
yeah.
I have a couple graphic novels of Predator and Alien separate, obviously. They got to be separate. Don't mix them together. But did you think that Bohemian Rhapsody should have won Best Picture over Black Klansman?
No.
Because I know we both like Black Klansman.
Well, Black Klansman's an interesting movie. I think it was better than
because that would have been my pick for best.
Yeah, I think it's definitely on my top 3 or 5.
It was top 3 for me, yeah.
But I was totally let down.
Did not like it at all.
But I kind of get it with Bohemian Rhapsody. It's kind of a feel good in a way. It's sort of
correct. It hits all the checklist of the biopic.
Okay.
Yeah,
is what it does.
So
it hits all those checklists, which is it's cliche. It's that's what I didn't like about it.
That's what the Academy looks for.
It was cliche and extremely predictable.
Yeah, that's what audiences want. They want, especially
predictability. Predictability, I feel like, is the most critics, like you guys, the most thing that you hate. I feel like the most.
It can be predictable, but still entertaining.
That's why Can You Ever Forgive Me is.
I feel like that's what brings
I love
down
it so much.
A lot of movies.
Sorry to bother you. You mentioned how unpredictable that was.
That was amazing. Okay, that was so good.
Even though it was predictable.
It wasn't predictable.
Oh, so then, see, you don't you like those surprises. Or
I like a movie if it's good. I mean, there's tons of good action movies out there. I would have liked Predator if it delivered, a good action with a decent beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
But
I was pretty disappointed.
What didn't you like about it? That it was too basic or too comical for no reason?
The Predator movie? The acting was bad. The screenplay was, like we said, he could have written it in crayon, like you said last week. Whoever the lead actor was, he didn't have an ounce of charisma compared to Schwarzenegger or Danny Glover.
He had so much screen time. He's a pretty boy. I think he's
Olivia
a model.
Munn, I think I commented.
He's a good person to look at.
She's pretty too.
She's pretty, but she's so wrongly miscast as a brilliant biologist from Johns Hopkins University.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's brilliant biologists working in labs right now. I'm sorry, but
was she
I didn't trust her.
The newsroom?
You didn't trust her?
The Aaron Sorkin
I'm not sure.
Yeah, she was.
She was, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Wasn't impressed with her then either.
I was impressed. I was not impressed with her in Psylocke in the last X-Men.
Okay.
She was not Logan, but
she's just very cold and she's
very
pretty.
She's beautiful.
That might be how she is as a person, though.
Maybe so she's not acting.
So then she's not. Yeah, she's not much of an actress. But I did like. I'm just getting tired of all the cliches and all, like Chris was saying last week, all the same routine, the same everything. But the one good thing I'll say about Bohemian Rhapsody, maybe it's doing what the Johnny Cash biopic did and what the Ray Charles biopic did. It's getting children, younger audiences into a group that hasn't performed in well over 20, almost 30 years. So I think that is maybe one long-term merit.
And for me, like exposing the next generation to like beautiful art like that, movies, cartoons.
So they're exposing them to Queen and their music, which is proven to be timeless. Yeah, because that was the best part of the movie. I just wanted to sit back and listen to the songs.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Rather watch the Queen live at Wembley Stadium.
But nice. So any other complaints or disappointments or
from the Golden Globes?
Yeah.
He's like, how much time you got?
Yeah, we got a couple movies to get through.
Okay, I mean, I would have liked to have seen Robert Redford win for Old Man and the Gun over Christian Bale.
This is his last movie, right?
I actually think of the nominees, he was the best choice. Yeah, this is his swan song. You got to see it.
I think it's 824, right?
I think so. But you've got to see it. It's really good. Well, he's 80-something.
Is it his last movie telling the truth? Because, as I keep saying, Judi Dench said she was going to stop acting.
Some actors do that. Yeah, I remember Juliette said that, Juliette Lewis said that.
Maybe it's just the women
Juliette
who
Lewis,
lie.
she's like 40-something.
She's young, she's in her 40s by now.
Maybe it's just the women who lie. Because Jack Nicholson said he was done, and we haven't seen him.
He's still supposed to be doing stuff.
He did that Owen Wilson
that was a while
romantic
ago.
comedy.
But that was like 10 years ago. He hasn't done anything. He's supposed to be in a remake of Tony Erdmann, but that hasn't. He's signed up. He says he will. He turned down Nebraska.
He's left his mark on Hollywood.
He was supposed to be Bruce Dern's role in Nebraska. He turned it down.
That would have been so good.
Bruce Dern was good, but it would have been different. It would have been more like About Schmidt,
kind of brought him back into the spotlight.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Bruce Dern's had some big movies with Chappaquiddick and The Hateful Eight.
Oh sure. No, and The Burbs.
Oh, he was Rumsfeld in The Burbs. Named after Don Rumsfeld.
Yes,
they did that intentionally.
That's funny. Okay, guys. So we've got some time to talk about the movies that we were supposed to talk about, but let's get the least interesting one out of the way. State Like Sleep. I believe Karen, you saw it. Amanda, you saw it? Yeah. You saw it with me. I was unfortunately there. So you're actually lucky you didn't get to see this.
You didn't see it?
You guys are doing me a favor. Thank you. Okay.
And this is a strange, dark, dramatic thriller starring Catherine Waterston. Waterston.
Sam Waterston's daughter.
Oh, is it? Mm-hmm. Okay. He's good, but the apple fell far from the tree.
She was in Alien Covenant. She was in Inherent Vice. I liked her in that.
She never smiles throughout the whole thing. Yeah. She's totally flat and dull, and I don't know. She's basically trying to find the truth of her husband's murder, or is it suicide? We don't really know. He's like this famous actor, and she finds him dead on the floor with a bullet in his head. So basically, she tries to backtrack and try to basically find out what happened. Karen, did you like it? I mean.
Well, I saw it during Tribeca last year. I got to interview the director, and she also wrote the script, and it was like her first real feature, and I enjoyed speaking with her, but the movie wasn't too great. But she was the director was really nice. She said she based it on some of her own personal experiences and stuff. So it was kind of wasn't she said it wasn't really a true real true biopic or whatever, but she said it was kind of based in her life somewhat, so I found that aspect kind of interesting.
See, that makes me feel bad about what I just said about the movie.
I was going to say, don't you hate it when the people that are so nice in the movie is just,
I should have had you introduce the movie.
But did you like it?
Certain parts, It wasn't the best I saw at the festival, but
I'll tell you, I did I like Michael Shannon and everything he does, but he's in this for 5 minutes. It's it's
what
sad.
A tease.
Yeah. No, he's so. Are you?
I'm a big Michael Shannon
so
fan.
Good. He's one of the better working actors today.
Right now, absolutely, he's outstanding.
He's great.
The Boardwalk Empire, and he was the best part of Nocturnal Animals.
He was nominated for an Oscar for
Bug, yes, he was. Yeah, I really like.
And he was in a movie. It came out about I think 2 years ago called Wolves.
Never saw that.
It's like
that was a good one.
drama where he plays a father, and the son is like into I don't know. He's a basketball star who gets into something.
Yeah. Loved him in Take Shelter.
Yeah,
I loved him in Bug. I even liked him as General Zod. He was a good Zod, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a young Christopher Walken.
That's a good comparison. You know what I mean? Or Willem Dafoe.
They should do a movie together. Just like
all three of those weird guys together.
Michael Shannon.
The screen couldn't handle it.
Just Michael Shannon and Christopher Walken sitting at a table. That's it.
Like throw in Gary Busey.
Sure.
Man.
Have him deliver something to them. Willem Dafoe drop in.
That would be hilarious.
Oh my God. Yes.
That would be hilarious.
Amanda, what do you think of the movie?
I mean, I really didn't like it.
No.
I didn't like it because of the storyline and the way that it was edited. I think the way it was edited was probably my major issue because as they went from scene to scene, it was hard to follow, like where she was, like the main thing. They did a lot of flashbacks. Because they did a lot of flashbacks and they did a lot of present, and usually with those type of movies, they find something different about the person to help you, which was fine. Like in the flashbacks, her hair was long, and the present, her hair was short. So you had that to follow, but it was hard to keep up with what was her memories and what was happening now. And maybe that was what they were going for, especially with the title. Like, they were showing that she was always in this sleep-like state. So even though you complained about...
Not fully awake, but not like... Yeah.
So even though you complained about, like, the way she looked and how dead she was, I feel like that was on purpose.
That was a reflection of her mental state.
Yeah, that she was just dead to the world because her life was over now that her husband was gone.
I get what they were trying to do with the movie.
It just wasn't as appealing, I guess. Right. And the way that the storyline was brought about, it was...
Basically, if you're looking for a feel-good movie, this is not it.
No.
This is not like a laugh fest. It's not gonna,
But it is a thriller. It is. I give it that. It is definitely a thriller. It is a psychological thriller. At the end, you're like, oh, I wonder, like a whodunit type movie. So it is that. It is a little relatable, like the way she acted. Depending on how tragedy affects people, she definitely showed that. Like if you're in a tragic situation, you are going to feel dead to the world until you get back. So, I mean, it's relatable, but is it a movie I'd see again? Probably not.
Okay, fair enough.
But, I mean, it wasn't the worst movie I've seen.
Yeah, it's all right. Karen, final thoughts? Should people go see it?
She's torn.
She's like, I want to say yes as supportive, but you're not missing anything if you don't.
Pretty much, yeah, I agree with that. If you like the actors like Michael Shannon and stuff, and like the director mentioned, like he was really like comical in real life when she first met him. She's like, he's not really much like you see on screen, so I thought that was interesting. So I'm like, she's like, he's totally different in real life than his roles, and I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting then.
Yeah.
So,
Michael Shannon?
Yeah.
Well, he was a struggling actor for a long time.
And
I
could see that.
Yeah, and Groundhog Day.
Oh my God.
Coming up.
It's coming
up.
He
had a small part in Groundhog Day.
He did.
All right, you know.
WrestleMania.
Yes, he was the one that got the WrestleMania tickets in Groundhog Day.
He was like 20 years old.
He looked so young. You could tell it's him, but he looks so different. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's a great, that was his very first role?
I don't know if it was his very first,
one
but
of
it was, he had to be really young at the time. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you guys, are you fans of the Groundhog Day movie, Karen?
I've never actually seen it.
Me neither.
You're a critic.
Me neither.
It's a great movie.
Mind blown.
You've never seen it either.
I haven't seen it either.
They have homework.
I know.
They have homework. And it's coming up, so it's perfect. It's perfect to watch on Groundhog Day. It's a perfect movie.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Rarely will I say that.
They've got a bunch of screenings all lined up in the city.
It's an amazing movie. Yeah.
It's so good.
On
one of Bill Murray's best.
I think it's Bill Murray. Well, next to Ghostbusters.
I agree with you. Next to Ghostbusters.
Because I'm a little biased in that respect.
And that has a special place in my heart as well. Yeah, Ghostbusters was terrific.
Nice.
Those I had the toys for.
Yeah,
as a kid growing up.
Proton pack. I still collect the toys.
I don't still collect the toys, but I had the toys as a kid. Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Moving into our next one, we're gonna save. Yeah, we're going to go into this one next. The Upside, which is basically a remake of the 2011 French film The Untouchables, which itself is also based on a true story about a wealthy paraplegic man who gets involved with this, they call it a life auxiliary, basically to help him with daily tasks, and along the way they befriend each other, they form a bond, and it's just a feel-good movie. So Yeah, we've got Bryan Cranston as the disabled, wealthy man, and Kevin Hart as the life auxiliary, his assistant, his aide. And yeah, I thought it was great. I didn't like Kevin Hart, but I don't like Kevin Hart at all. So I don't know about you guys. Amanda, what did you think of The Upside?
I loved it. It was a really good feel-good movie. Yeah. I left it feeling really good.
Yeah, that's.
I, on the other hand, love Kevin Hart.
Oh God! All right,
So it was a
Not
good
judging.
performance. A good performance.
It was
by
better
him.
than all his other performances that I've seen before, though. That's not saying much because he pretty much plays the same
That's
person
true.
in everything he's done.
I mean, I'll give you that. It was one of his better performances.
He showed a little more range this time.
He showed some range.
This much more.
Yeah.
But he showed
Very
more
little.
range.
Just a smidge.
I'll give him that.
A little more. But, I mean, as a movie, I definitely liked it. It showed the sides of either side of life, like with the rich guy versus... It showed a rich versus
It's
poor
the social
guy.
classes and how they kind of intersect. That was...
So that's always a good idea to show in a movie. So it relates to different types of people. I liked it.
I liked it too, but you can't. I mean, you can compare it to the French film, which is sadly though it's a lot better than this.
It definitely is.
But this is obviously in English, so it's more relatable to American audiences.
And once again, it's in New York.
Yeah, I love anything filmed in New York. So
Like everything is
They
filmed
did
in
make
New York.
good use.
They
of
did.
The cinematography was crisp and clear and glossy.
Yeah,
and it had a good look to it.
It
I want
looked
to know what
good.
everyone else thinks. Like everything is shot in New York.
I know. Well, it's the greatest city in the world. I mean, come on.
What do the other cities think?
Hey, Rocky
Just
had
middle of-
Philadelphia, Seattle, San Francisco's had some
What does
amazing
middle
movies.
of Michigan feel like? See everything.
Michigan has had
What
some
about
movies.
Muncie, Indiana?
Yeah, I want to know
I don't know.
what
That's
they...
a Hudsucker Proxy.
I just watched it last night. That's why I brought
Very
it up.
good, very good. Underrated Coen Brothers.
So
I want to
good,
know
yeah.
what they think about
We're
this.
going to talk Coen Brothers another time, though.
I could talk all day about the Coen Brothers. Yeah.
Jason, what did you think of?
This show's going to turn into good cop, bad cop. I'm going to be the bad guy, and you guys are all the heroes. I did not like The Upside. I gave it a 1.5 for what you said. Kevin
Out of
Hart.
5?
Out of 4.
You're tough, man.
Kevin Hart
No.
is, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and people get mad at me for saying this, Kevin Hart is not funny, in my opinion.
I'm with you in that one.
But I also think Kevin Hart cannot act. So it made me, like we said, he showed this much more range. Yes, he was dramatic, but I think it made me ask 3 questions. A, was Eddie Murphy that amazing? Maybe. B, were movies that much better in the 80s and 90s when they're making it? Or is it both? Because I just feel like, I remember, what was the one with Will Ferrell? Get Hard? That was clearly
Kevin Hart. Yeah.
Give me Trading Places any day. Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, please.
Yes.
Just give me that. I'll watch that on repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes, Bryan Cranston was good.
Oh, he's great in everything.
He's great in everything.
Yeah.
And Nicole Kidman, she must be she's becoming the white woman Australian version
I
of
know.
Samuel L. Jackson because she's in everything now.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
she's
They like using her.
She's
a
good
lot.
in such a thankless role. Like, what was the point of having any talented actress in that
They could have
role?
picked anyone,
anyone.
cold, stern woman in that role.
Yeah,
And saved
exactly.
a lot more money.
Exactly, but I mean, whatever. She was good, but she was given nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I felt that way about Bryan Cranston. This is the Kevin Hart show. This is Kevin Hart's movie, and he is not ready to carry a movie. Not like this, at least.
So do you think this was sort of like his audition for the Oscars in a way?
Well, then there's that whole controversy with the
yeah,
Oscars,
exactly.
which I mean, I'm cool with them not having a host, and I think it's
Me
smart.
too.
Because the
They're
show
just like, screw this, I'm going hostless.
the show might end on time.
I'd
for
rather have
once.
James Franco and Anne Hathaway again.
Oh, I would. Oh, no. Let's not do that. But I just think it'll end on time. That's one good thing. And I think I do respect Kevin Hart for just saying, no, I'm not doing it. End of story. So that, to me, is good. He just puts his foot down. It's over. Not this going back and forth like these free agents. Okay, they're like, I'll sign here. I'll go here. I'll wait. I'll have a show about it. He said, nope, that's it. I'm stepping down. Don't ask me anymore. But the movie, it just didn't do much for me.
The studio execs were like, Kevin Hart, come on, be dramatic, come on,
Yeah,
sell us.
And
you know?
he's trying, bless his heart, he's trying. But it reminded me of Green Book, which I was not a fan of, but I appreciated Green Book more because that at least had 2 good performances. To the point where I almost walked out liking it. But then I thought about everything else and I was like, no, I can't in good conscience say
And
it's
both
good.
films are kind of on the same wavelength in terms of themes. And
Yes, and themes dealing with race and themes
right.
dealing with friendship
Right.
and, helping people out that you would have no connection with otherwise. Both not just race, but socioeconomic
Sure.
class. Says a lot about that.
I think that movie handled it a little bit better than this one.
So I feel like
Green
a lot
Book?
of movies these
I think
days,
Green Book handled those themes better than.
And I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, a lot of movies these days are talking about race, so I like that they didn't bring it into race. Like, I feel like anyone could have played Kevin Hart's role, but they chose to go with someone else.
Well, in the original, it was an African American.
Right.
The
In Untouchables.
Or, I'm sorry, black French actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they could have picked.
So then they did it on purpose, then.
Yeah.
They could have picked a white guy that's from like a poor area.
But I feel like they wanted to stay true to that. If you're saying that it was,
it was just poor casting in that respect.
But they didn't want to make it in the French one. Did they make it about race, or was
they did.
Slightly.
Yeah.
So I like that they didn't make it about race.
But the acting was
this
better.
one.
Yeah, it was just a better movie.
Yeah.
And this would have, maybe I would have walked out feeling at least, okay, I got 2 good performances from Bryan Cranston. And there's so many other more talented actors. Marshall Ali, he's the flavor of the month. He would have knocked this out of the park. Or Don Cheadle or someone else.
Like
Give
that.
someone a chance.
Cheadle.
He was big about 10, 15 years ago. He did that TV show.
Right.
He did that TV show on
Poor
Showtime.
guy, I haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah.
That's Don Cheadle.
I liked him a lot.
Was he in the last Iron Man? Was he the?
Yeah, I think so.
He was a War Machine.
So
right?
he's just cashing checks from.
But inside of Avengers, we saw him for like a second.
We saw in the last Avengers, we saw everybody for just a few minutes. It was it was like an all-star game. They came in, they did their part, they left, and they went to the next character.
They could phone it in if they wanted.
They probably did. So,
Karen, what did you think of The Upside?
I kind of agree with everybody. Like Bryan Cranston, I thought was the kind of like the highlight. I like him in pretty much everything he does. Kevin Hart, he go either way with him. He wasn't anything like spectacular. Like I think he kind of like just pushes like his jokes too far sometimes.
I don't know how he gets work. Like
people love him. He sold out He sold out MetLife Stadium. He sold out Lincoln Financial Field.
For you, Kevin.
What comedians have done that though? What comedians have done that? So he has a fit. People like him. I just think comedy.
I like him.
I think comedy has changed, and we grew up where comedy was a little bit more. I don't want to say better. It could be a little more risque. Mel Brooks couldn't do what he does today. Sacha Baron Cohen. I don't think they could make Borat or Bruno today the way they did years ago. Yeah, exactly. So we grew up with comedians had a little bit more of an edge to them.
Borat was very in your face.
All of his movies are.
Yeah.
So I think it's just comedy has changed, and Kevin Hart is a safer, more adaptable, moldable choice than some of these more. Than these raunchier comedians. Yes.
Whatever.
So, or these comedians that have more of an edge.
You guys sound like 2 grumpier old men.
Yeah. No.
Grumpy old critics.
I don't see
exactly.
No,
but he liked the movie. I didn't.
Because Bryan Cranston.
He liked the overall movie.
That's what sold
Kevin
it for
Hart.
me.
Okay.
I could see Cranston do anything, and then Kevin Hart's in there. It's kind of like
Cranston is super inspirational.
It
like,
soured everything for me, but it's like, Cranston.
And you're still giving it a recommendation.
This is on the radar for sure.
Okay. All right.
Like
it was the number one movie
though.
this weekend. So.
Good. Yeah, it's a feel good.
People went out to see it.
Yeah, it's a decent movie.
But yeah, Bryan Cranston is definitely inspirational.
I love him.
The fact that he started so late in the game and is booming right now.
Seinfeld.
As he's later.
Tim Watley.
Yeah.
And he's the father in Malcolm in the Middle.
And
then, of course,
Breaking Bad.
That
knew he had that.
That solidified it.
Who knew he had that? That's one of the best TV shows of all time.
That's when he became.
It's my favorite dramatic series ever, I'd say.
I'm not going to say that, but this is what I've always said about Breaking Bad. I've always said it's the most perfect show of all time.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite. I prefer, and it's 20th anniversary, I prefer The Sopranos, but I do think Breaking Bad never had a bad episode, never had a dull moment.
It just flows.
It built
it's consistent
to the ending. It was all
throughout.
about getting to the end.
Yeah.
And he was fantastic.
It feels like a movie, really.
One long movie?
Yeah.
One
it really
long,
does. It's that powerful. It's
terrific.
that seamlessly done. Yeah.
But we could talk about that again.
That's another topic for another day.
At length.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
So guys, we got the final film. Again, Mr. Koenigsberg did not see.
I didn't see this one.
It's okay. You'll kind of interject. We only have a few minutes anyway. But A Dog's Way Home. Basically, it's about a young doggy, a pit bull, who's under the care of this young man, and his mother is actually a vet. She was in I think Iraq or Afghanistan, and basically they had this dog to help her with depression. The dog somehow runs away and tries to get back home, and through a series of unfortunate events. I won't give it away, but it's basically like a homeward bound type of movie, which we don't really see much of these days, which, kind of like the voiceover of the dog speaking or its thoughts. And it was a really sweet movie. The screening we went to, actually just today, was filled with mostly families with young kids, so it was kind of cute. And I thought it was a charming little family adventure film about a dog. But Karen, what did you think of the movie?
I'm a big fan of dogs, so
Good.
I thought it was like cute for like families and stuff. Like, I think like adults in general might not really be into it that much, but for like the kids, I think it was like pretty cute. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It wasn't like a lot of substance, but it was just like
True.
Yeah.
True. It's not going to be nominated for an Oscar.
Oh,
I don't think.
dogs.
Did you enjoy A Dog's Way Home?
I loved it. It was such a cute movie. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes for certain parts of the movie. It was so sad. There's so many parts of the movie that was just so sad, but you identified with the dog, which is crazy because it was a dog.
It had personality. She had personality.
And I feel like it was the voice that gave personality, which I think was Bryce Dallas Howard.
I'm looking that up right now.
But the voice definitely gave personality, but I feel like the dog they chose was perfect.
Yeah,
I don't know
cute.
if it was just one dog, because sometimes in these type of movies they use multiple types of dogs. But those eyes, you just wanted to just...
They melted your
heart.
heart.
Yeah, they really did.
Very cute pit bull.
So, I mean, like you said, they don't have that many movies like this. I think Air Buddies, I think might be
Air
the
Buddies.
close.
I remember. Air Bud, yeah.
Not
Air Bud,
even Air Bud, because that was more of a sports movie. Air Buddies with the puppies that are like, you'll see like
I don't even think
3
I saw
million
the first
of them
one.
on.
I didn't see the first
Like
one.
if you go to Netflix, there's like millions of them. They have Christmas Air Buddies. They
sport
have
imaginable
yeah,
has been
soccer
applied.
Air
Has been
Buddies.
Air Bud. Started out as a dog playing basketball when we were kids.
Yes.
Okay, and that was
Just a bunch of
95.
puppy movies.
and now it's just
Puppy.
he's playing hockey, baseball, soccer,
many.
basketball. I don't know,
But now it's not even sports anymore. Now it's just kind of like A Dog's Way Home, where like one of the puppies gets separated from the other puppies, and now they have to find the puppy. So
I remember liking Homeward Bound a lot.
but
So good. That ending.
I liked it as a kid.
But it's so much,
and the voice acting, I think,
and it's
helped.
so old.
Sally
like,
Field,
like how
Michael
old
J.
is that
Fox,
movie?
and Donna Meach.
Donna Michi, yep.
That was in
so many years
93.
ago.
Sounds about right,
so
yeah.
many years
20,
ago.
26 years ago.
Wow.
And then you have Milo and Otis.
That was even
it.
older.
That
I
was-
remember seeing that as a
Milo
kid.
and Otis.
Benji, the Benji.
Benji.
movies, yeah.
I can't
But
think
see,
of
these
any.
are all older movies.
I can't think of any animal pet movies
where they're trying to find their way back.
but it also had that voice, like that inner monologue.
yeah.
And you're right, Bryce Dallas Howard was the voice of
I
Bella.
liked it. It was
pretty good.
It was sad, but a lot of kids' movies are sad.
It was
For
sweet.
some reason, a lot of kids' movies are sad. But it was really nice.
This is for families.
It was
for sure.
predictable, obviously. I mean, it's called A Dog's Way Home.
Right.
So it was predictable.
I wonder what happens.
But
yeah.
it was nice. I like seeing her journey.
Well, home could be somewhere that's not the house.
Ooh, how profound. I live wherever I am. Jason, are you a dog lover?
Yeah. So I was talking before, and I said my favorite film with a dog. We're Homeward Bound and the Benjis and all those movies. They're all good, but it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's on Criterion on Blu-ray. It's called Umberto D. Ooh. It's by Vittorio De Sica, who did La Dolce Vita.
Yeah.
It's an Italian neorealist film, and
Nice.
it's got to be made in the 50s, I would say. And it's about this old man, Umberto, and his companion is his dog, and he's trying to survive in a war-torn, destroyed post-World War II
Oh,
Italy.
jeez.
And
The dog kinda helps in
dog.
that.
It's a beautiful. That got
awesome.
to my heart. Okay, it's a beautiful film, and it's a beautiful story about a man and his dog. So please look that one up. If you are a dog lover, that's the film that I recommend for anyone that loves dogs.
That sounds a little similar, but this isn't a dog. It's actually a cat. I forget the name, but it's got Ed Norton from The Honeymooners.
Jackie Gleason?
No, the friend Art Carney.
Art Carney? I don't know.
He has
this
a
one.
pet cat.
Was it Harry and Tonto?
Yes.
Okay, he won an Oscar for
He won
that.
for
Much to when you look at the other nominees that year. Yes, he's right.
1971.
It's
72. I don't know.
It was he beat like Al Pacino for The Godfather 2. He beat like Jack Nicholson for Chinatown. And there's other like you look at the other names like Redford might have been up there. Or someone, like he beat like such amazing actors, and it was the Man and his Cat.
Wow.
Classic.
You're absolutely right. Harry and Tonto.
Nice. I don't know how I just pulled that out like that.
You remember that? I rember Umberto D. That's
there you go.
There you go.
So guys,
so cute,
we only have a minute left, unfortunately. But I'd like to mention some plugs here for our sponsor, Magnitude Jewelry. February 2nd to 3rd is the New Life Expo in Boca Raton, Florida. March 3rd is the Holistic Expo in Staten Island. Also, March 22nd to the 24th, the New Life Expo in New York City. It's awesome, by the way, if you haven't been there. The New Life Expo, basically all these yogis and psychics and real new age spiritual stuff. It's awesome stuff. Cool. And April 28th is the Awakenings Fair in Tarrytown, New York. So guys, we just have a few seconds left real quick. Karen, any plugs for you today?
Just the same as usual, just continuing to writing for my site Shakya, so just movie reviews, interviews, all that fun stuff. So,
all that jazz.
Yeah.
Cool. Jason?
You could check out all of my reviews on panandslam.com, www.panandslam.com.
Wow. Nice. Pan and Slam. I like
I
that.
know.
It kind of rolls off the tongue.
Because like pan and scan.
Okay.
Remember when I would always try to buy the
rings
widescreen VHS and the widescreen
or the
DVDs.
Laserdisc.
Wow.
I never had a Laserdisc.
Me neither.
I missed out on that, but yeah, okay.
It's all right.
We're revealing our ages.
We are. And I love it.
We were old enough for DVD. But
Indeed.
Panandslam.com. You can check out all my reviews there.
Cool.
Thanks.
And Amanda, anything yet, or just
nothing
just being awesome
Just being
as
awesome.
usual? All right. Well, guys, this has been another awesome episode of Unger the Radar. I want to thank my guests today, and of course, Gustavo Steinberg, who's on the phone with us from Brazil. And I want to welcome everyone back on the show next week. If you're watching at home, I want to thank you for watching on your tablets, your devices, your TVs, what have you. And have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday. Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Unger the Radar is all new next week with more movie reviews and interviews on Strong Island Radio and Television. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week.